Uh-oh. Brand new throwout bearing.
What do you suppose that's some of the reason why it got parked?
I bet you that's why our clutch doesn't work right. It's probably seized the flywheel.
That looks like a smaller radiator. It went in my mouth. Yeah, that old power valve was definitely, didn't have a lot of life left to it, and that would have been a pain, so I'm glad we opted to do that.
Yeah! Alright, it is day 2 of the resurrection of the F250. Today I'm going to be jacking it up, freeing up the wheels, and see if I can get the clutch free. That's pretty much today's agenda. And maybe if that all goes good, I'll come around later and do some more work on the motor. That being said, let's begin. It's just me out here today. Luke took the day off from work yesterday to help me. But in this video, I'm alone in the woods of this abandoned farm. It's gonna be a long day. Cool. Oh, dude, she's mint. She's mint. Come on, girl, free up. There we go. Might be an easy day. Can't beat that. Alright, so we're moving on to the back here. I got this tire jacked up. And sure enough, she's free. So awesome. That's going to make today really easy. Probably have time to work on the motor and the clutch for way longer than I thought. And when I'm around here on the back, I realized I haven't shown this on camera at all yet, but the back of this truck, interestingly enough, is covered in National Hot Air Balloon Championship stickers. And just hot air balloon stuff. There's the balloon fiesta. And it all lines up with the dates. I think the oldest one, it's 86. 90, Baton Rouge. Yeah, everything lines up with the dates on the oil filter saying 91. So I think the last time this truck truly did see the road at all, or any movement at all, was 91. And then somewhere along the path, someone came along, and by what little work we've seen, and the fact that there's a whole car gasket set laying over here, someone along the way came and tried to bring this thing out of the woods once already, and failed. So, we're gonna succeed. We already got her running. We're gonna do new plugs and wires today. Got a little bit of tuning yet to do. Got to figure out top dead centers so we can set our timing. Fix the gas pedal. Fix the clutch. And then get some air in the tires. And I think we're done. Does this sound right? Can we be done that soon already? 2 days? I don't know. We'll find out. There you have it. She's ready to roll. Alright, so we're moving on to the clutch. And I'm trying to crawl into the truck with a hammer and try to shock the clutch to break free. So right now it's stuck engaged, and I failed. So as you can see, the spring's on it right now, but the clutch is stuck halfway down. That's not actually the pedal, that's just bending linkages and stuff. It's the flex in the metal. Alright, so see, the pedal is stuck 2/3 of the way down. I almost wonder if it's stuck disengaged, which could lead to more problems if we might not be able to move it at all. So what I'm going to do is turn over the crank with it in, I think that's reverse. I don't know, doesn't matter, just one of the low gears. We're going to see if it moves the truck. There you go. that does in fact move the truck. So the clutch is stuck engaged, which means I'm gonna have to get that. If I can get that to free up, awesome. If not, there's still a way to move the truck. So what I'm gonna do is see if I can get a rod in here and hit it from above, because I cannot get to that Z-bar, to the clutch fork. Cannot get to that clutch fork very easily from up here. So I'm gonna take this metal rod with all these weird welds on it that I found out in the grass and see if we can knock that loose. Ah! Some bitch is pretty stuck. Alright, we'll be back. Alright, so it's been a couple hours. I've been slaving away at this clutch, and I've come to the conclusion that after I went down there and played around the clutch fork itself feels completely light if you take all the springs off. It weighs like, feels like it weighs only what the clutch fork stamped piece of metal itself weighs. I can't feel anything else, like for instance the throwout bearing moving around on the end of it. So with that, and the knowledge of the fact that there is a throwout bearing sitting in the back of this truck, I don't think we have a clutch that's operational. It is stuck in gear and it's going to stay that way. So I think the throwout bearing went bad or fell off or something, and it's just rusty as shit inside that transmission bell housing and full of mice poop. So I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to see what I can do about making the engine run better, get some plugs and wires in it, as well as run some wires into the interior for a kill switch and a start switch so that we can sit in it, throw it in gear, and try to crank it and drive it out of the hole. Let's go. That was kind of cool. Alright, we're back from lunch. Got ourselves some chicken sandwiches. These are not chicken sandwiches, these are spark plugs. We got some parts. I'm going to change the oil, put in spark plugs, put on wires, see if we can get the run better, and then run a starter switch and a kill switch into the cab. My plan currently, since we're not going to have a clutch, jack the back end up, get the tires spinning, bring it up the RPM, and then just drop it and go. Hope for the best, I guess. I mean, we're just gonna send it. Alright, I'll get started on this and I'll bring you guys along for the ride. Alright, so what we got here are two switches that are gonna be really simple to wire in. I'll show you how here in a second. Basically, we just need to take the coil to a switch to the battery, and then on that side we're gonna hook in the alternator wire, the trigger wire for the relay box here, the regulator box, sorry. And then the other one we just take from the starter solenoid signal wire to a switch to the battery. It's just that easy. Should take a couple seconds. We'll get them wired in and we'll be right back. Let's give her a go. Alright, so our hose is on with the handyman's secret weapon. Gonna refill the radiator. Probably only take a gallon this time if I had to guess. I apologize about the lighting here, but there's nothing I can do. I'm outside. So, we got water in it. Still need to change the oil. We're going to get the motor a little bit warm first. We got to do plugs and wires. For now, it's here to start, because we haven't done that yet today. Give her a couple pumps of happiness and crank. Not want to run unless I'm pumping that or way up in the RPM. Alright, we'll figure that out. And in this thing's case, it doesn't like to idle at all, and we haven't got it to idle yet. So we're thinking it's not firing on all the cylinders, because what I have heard, it'll run for 2 or 3 or 4 seconds like glug 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 and then die. It just doesn't seem like there's all 8 there that are as strong as they need to be. So I'm gonna pull the wires, put new ones on, and we'll test it. And then I will pull the plugs and put new ones in, and then we'll test it. Here we go. Alright, this is what I'm talking about. Check this out. It's just a folded wire. You're telling me that it's not arcing out somewhere? You're crazy. So I'm gonna put new wires in, get this junk out of there, and then we need to set our timing, change the oil, and see how she does. Alright, let's see if she runs any better. Forgot about those. Thank God it didn't run any better, because that would have been bad. Always check your engine bay is clear before you crank. Okay, plugs, then timing. Alright, boom, new plugs. Now the timing's still way off and the carburetor's nowhere near being set properly, but it should be better. Let's find out. Oh, that sounds better. Better, still not right. Alright, on to ignition, as in timing. So in our case, we don't want to break these valve cover gaskets, so we're not going to take them off. Really easy. They're not leaking right now, I don't want them to start. Just trace your number one spark plug wire back, right here. Memorize where that is in the position of the distributor. So it's right over here, right off on the 1 o'clock. Spin your motor over by hand until your rotor points right to where your number one cylinder is. Pull your first spark plug and look in the cylinder. And on the 352s, it's really easy. You can literally, there's the piston. Now I watched that piston to go up and down. And I watched it until I could actually, on this one, feel a little thud right where the connecting rod was straight. It was actually easier to turn right there. And it come to a perfect stop, so I was definitely able to find top dead center. Now your piston's only going to come up twice for every rotation of this. One of those times it's on an exhaust stroke, so your rotor is going to be pointing completely the opposite direction. The other time it's on your power stroke, and once the spark or the top dead center, so your rotor is going to be pointing right towards that cylinder. Really, you can't screw that up as long as you're on the right wire. So that's top dead center. I'm going to come down here on my crank pulley and mark it, because we did not have a mark before. And then I'm going to set my ignition timing. Alright, braking discovery. I went around, messed with this a little bit, found exact top dead center, marked it, moved it, advanced about what I approximated to be 12 degrees in this circle. Then while I was in there, I was like, wow, those points look a little close. So I widened the points out a little bit, and one of the two has made a major difference, because watch this. Now, it runs a lot better as it is, but if I pull the choke all the way, run without choke though. So what I'm thinking is back the mixture screws out a bunch. See what happens. Huh.
Carburetor on something. I remember soaking it in the bucket of cleaner.
So Ron, while I got the camera rolling here, if you don't mind, you said you drove this truck as a farm truck until about, you think, early 90s?
Well, according to that oil filter, 91.
91?
Whatever the date is on that.
You picked it up at a farm auction, you said?
Yep. Seven 91 looks like.
And that lines up with all the stickers on the tailgate about right, so.
Yeah.
And the dirt. That's the hole it was sitting in. Okay. Ugh, the fabled dropping of the oil. The last step for being driven out of its grave. Huh, like that, cool. Like Luke said the first time, this oil does not look that bad. It's a little sparkly, but it's honestly not anything I'd be concerned about. Because if you think about it, this thing's been sitting for 30 years. Those piston rings were not very willing to move, yet we made them. Alright, we got our oil filter off. Let's take a dip in here. Yeah, there's nothing in that, so filter's definitely doing its job. Might have been a little shit in the pan. The oil looks good. We're gonna change it out. Some good old, cheap old O'Reilly's motor oil. Just to be safe, put a new filter in there. It's a Fram FE motors, or at least this one is a PH8A. It's a Wix, it's a 51-51.5, same as a small block Ford. Alright, so let's go grab our new filter and put it on.